Hey, hello, hello.
Good uni?
What's up? Okie dokie. What's up?
Yeah, been just getting situated here. How you been, man?
Doing all right. I just got off work like 2 hours ago. Pretty
I got you,
tired.
got you.
I'm pretty tired, so like some VOD reviews and like online practice will probably do the best today.
Gotcha. Alright, yeah, we can probably take a little bit light then. If that's the case, then maybe we won't get too deep into topics today, because,
Hmm.
you know, you're gonna need a lot of energy for that, right? So we'll just keep it light today. How about that?
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Gotcha. Alright, bot reviews. Okay, good. Alright, yeah, I can probably definitely work at that then. Let me get your ID here real quick, though. Hold on. Let me go grab it.
Yeah. You could probably find it, right? It's in
Yeah,
Play Place and
yeah,
stuff.
I have it here in the responses. Don't worry.
Fantastic. I tried to look up your profile last night after we got off, and I think
Huh?
as soon as I got to the profile, it just gave me a straight crash. I was so confused. I hope it doesn't do
On
it
like
again. It does give.
on Tekken,
Yeah,
or
it just gave me another crash. What the hell?
that's so weird.
That is super weird. I don't know why.
I could not tell you why. Tekken being
Yeah,
Tekken, I guess.
Tekken being Tekken indeed. Like I went into your profile and it just instantly crashed, and it just happened just now.
That is actually really weird. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
Nonetheless, we can work on stuff. So
gotcha. Okay.
I was fighting pretty well earlier today. I almost took a set off of one of
To
our
God Brian, right?
yeah, it's God Brian. It's one of my what's it called?
Ooh,
It's
okay.
what it's one of my friends from my locals.
Right, right. Okay.
But yeah, we can take a look at one of these, and then we can probably like utilize what we were talking about yesterday. Because I was trying to like,
Gotcha.
utilize a little bit more,
Mm-hmm.
like the my habits coming out and my rock paper scissors stuff.
Gotcha. Just how you're approaching each overall. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely can start watching those movies. Okay, sure.
Okay.
I guess we'll watch a couple of these. I'm
Hmm.
just trying to debate like which ones we start with. Obviously with the first one here, because this is where beginning of everything having. Okay, everything
Right.
started. Were you playing this one beforehand? Okay, this is like a quick match thing, I guess.
I was playing. This is player matches, so like we have a whole like
Yeah, yeah.
Discord of like people fighting and stuff like that, and just so
Got it,
happened
got
that
it.
I got to fight my friend Marcel.
Right.
But
I guess we'll do basically like two birds in one stone here. We can one cover like obviously what we could do better here, but also like just explain like what Reina specifically can also do as well, right?
right.
Maybe some tools we're missing, maybe some things we're able to take advantage of, maybe some
Hmm.
neutral stuff that we're not doing well. So we'll see.
Okay.
Alright. Is the game looking crisp or is it like laggy? Let me know.
No, it's okay.
Alright, gotcha. Mostly. Alright. Let's see. Development. Actually, I'll keep it on. Why not? Alright, let's go.
All right, here we
Alright,
go.
round start. Round start. Okay, you're both opting in sidestepping. Okay.
Right.
30 plus 4 timing. Okay. Boom, boom,
Yeah, it was
boom.
instant counter hit. I just kind of like stood there and just wait and try to like wait on an option,
I mean,
and I instantly got punished for it.
immediately the first thing I notice is like your willingness to be within striking range. Just not exactly taking the immediate action. First of all,
Mm,
so basically, like whenever you're just like initial, right?
right.
You sort of either want to play it safe by being within distance where if a move, from what your opponent throws out, either, let me reword this. When you're in like neutral, right?
Mm,
You generally want to play around the spacing specifically, where
mm,
like you sort of want to be within whiff punish range,
mm.
but not exactly in striking zone, right? That's sort of like how we like,
Get blown up.
sort of like yeah, pretty much like you don't want to like end up like putting yourself in a bad position. For example, here where it's like okay, you close the gap, but you decided to still be passive in their face, right? When you're
Right.
deciding, okay, you know what, I'm gonna go in here, right?
Yeah.
This is your like, you know, you're the first person that decided to take immediate action. This is where you should be the person, doing something first, right?
Yeah.
Because between both of you playing passive, like immediately I'm seeing, I'm like, okay, you decided to take the first action, but
Mm.
you sort of hesitated at the same time. It's like, what were you trying to do, like a 442 or something?
I
Ah,
think it was an electric.
yeah.
I also wanted to
Yep.
talk about
Yeah.
electric or electric. What's it called? Input, no, execution. So like example, like I'll give you an example. Like primarily my most aggressive side is my left side. On my right side I play more passively because
Right.
I can't hit waivus as often.
Least comfortable side, right?
Yes. So that was another thing, is that we can probably, if you can come up with a drill for me to like really
Of
drill
course.
in, you know, like I'm not sure if you ever read like watched the Karate Kid or something like that, like wax on, wax off,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
So if you can give me something like that for Wavoo, I'll grind the fuck out of it. Because
Well, yeah.
another analogy I wanted to use, because I was thinking about this, like when
Mm.
I was thinking about this for our next session, which is now, like did you ever play this game called Guns the Duel or Gun Z?
I have not actually, no.
Okay, so in this game there was like, you know, it's like guns and swords and stuff like that, right? But you have like air dashes in the game. Well, every time you do a wall jump in the game, you get an air dash reset. So people will do this thing called a butterfly, where they will constantly keep jumping back and forth and keep blocking, and you know, it was called the butterfly. And there was also K style, Korean style, or something like that. Basically, like extreme like ADHD movement, right?
Right.
The reason why I'm talking about that game is because that game made me obsessed with movement in the video game, which is why in Tekken, at some point during my like climb up to like, you know, learning the game, I got obsessed with learning trying to learn Wavyu. But I'm only able to muster up like like a 2-chain.
Right, right. Well, here's the good thing about Waivu though, is
Yes.
that realistically you only need like 2 to 3 chains maximum.
Yes.
Anything else is just like
Excessive.
you adding extra mental. Like it's not just excessive, right?
Right.
It's your ability to add more mental stack to your opponent, because you know the more you have your timing be more like variable, like the harder it is for your opponent to be like, oh, when's it gonna come? When's the hell's it gonna come? Oh, whatever. You know what? I'm gonna just press the button here. Fuck it. Boom.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But there's also another terminology for this, which is pretty common among all fighting games. It's called footsies.
Right.
Basically, footsies is where like you're playing the spacing game, right? Like where you know, when am I gonna be within spacing range? Within like striking range? When am I gonna be within like weapons range, right? So sometimes you can use movement to bait out certain aspects. Sometimes you use movement, for example, like, you know, with Mishmas, right? You have the wave dash to be able to actually approach someone, right? Or just bait out a response.
Right.
Even doing like an empty wave can be like a really good, excellent way to like bait out a response, right?
Right.
But like it's a common thing that you'll see in almost every fighter game, right?
Right.
You know, even in Tekken, right? Like the whole spacing mind game. It's like, okay, what range am I gonna be at? Like what you know, because the range you're at determines what moves you gotta worry about, right?
Right.
It's like that's like the first key point about neutral, right? It's like why are we backdashing around start, right? Like what was the whole point of this to begin with, right? Yeah, and now we're like barely into the game, right? But like there's a lot of things to consider, right?
Yes, this is what I wanted, to be honest. Like I wanted to like really dive into this type of thing, because I it's like super obsessive. I really want to get obsessed with this.
That's fine. That's fine. It becomes more cool the more invested you get. Yeah.
Right.
But like generally, like all of these actions for, you know, that we do round side is for a purpose, right? So you're both sidestepping right here, beginning round. Which I personally prefer like a backdash, because you don't risk yourself running into like a random move. You know what I mean?
You know
like,
what?
Is like the easiest thing you can do.
I think I was writing out like my round starts, right? Like, okay, these are my common 3 round starts. I wrote this down. Okay. Electro and Godfist round start, because you know, sometimes I gotta like that. Sidestep,
okay.
Sidestep, and then backstep or backdash. And I was writing out like what do I get beat by if I do this, right? Exactly. I wrote out the Electro and Godfist, duck. Sometimes I get ducked on Electro and Godfist and I lose 75% of my health already. I'm like, oh, oops.
Right. There's also the idea of getting mashed on as well. Like some people might do like a round start, like mash button move, like a jab.
Exactly.
Maybe like a quick mid poke, generic low, right?
Right, right. Same thing with the sidestep. I didn't launch before from a sidestep. I just got clipped by it, and I'm just like, huh? So
Welcome back in the game.
yeah, so like I've been launched before, and then backstep. I think probably backstep is probably my safest, like
Yeah.
round start.
Yeah, generally, when you're like first like trying to like play against an opponent, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can either take two approaches, right? You can either be the first person taking action immediately around start, just to like
Mm-hmm.
showcase to them that hey, I'm a crazy person. I'm here
Yeah.
to be in control. I'm here to show you respect.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's more the aggressive approach, right? Or some people might prefer the more passive approach.
Right.
Now there are other sequences you are able to do, but that is within like being more experienced and like understanding like what a character can do, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that's what like for example like you'll see some pros, for example, they'll do like a specific meta where they'll do like a sidestep right duck and like round start,
Right.
right? And
Right.
it's like, oh, why are they doing that? Or like maybe against Jack, it's like they'll do a sidestep left block round start. It's like, oh, why are they
Mm-hmm.
doing that?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's because, for example, we'll use Jack in this example, right? Jack, for example, his two jab is weak to sidestep left.
Mm-hmm.
His another common round start meta that they do is round start down back one, his little low, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's also weak to sidestep left.
Right.
So both of those being weak to sidestep left as a round start, as a common round start like tool, because no other Jack is doing like a round start like DF2 on the first interaction, right?
Right.
So like some people might be crazy to do that, but that's in case we ever end up running into that, that's the whole block aspect of the sidestep left block that we're doing. Because
Right.
when you do a sidestep left block, you're not committing to a full sidewalk, and
Mm-hmm.
because the two jab for Jack is like 11 frames, down back one is 12 frames, and then
Mm-hmm.
the down forward two that he has also 15 frames.
Mm-hmm.
That's three frame difference between down back one and like down forward two.
Right.
Like it's a small frame gap, right? But
Right.
it is small enough for us to still be able to cover two actions
Mm-hmm.
at the same time while still being able to fish for a potential whip opportunity, right? So
Right.
that's why a lot of people round start will just do either like a safe backdash just to see what the opponent's doing, right?
Right.
Or if they're familiar with the character, they're familiar with what the player might do as well.
Right.
They want to start off things maybe a little bit safe. They'll do
Yeah.
a split block because
Right.
at that point you're fishing for a whip punish, and
Mm.
et cetera, and so on, right? There's a lot of things you can definitely do. Like this, like the reason why Tekken is always gonna be interesting, no matter what. Why fighting games are always interesting
Yeah.
is it doesn't get stale because there's a lot of decisions that you're able to do,
Yeah.
and that always makes it tense, right? Like, oh,
Right.
what's he gonna do now? What's he gonna do now? Like, there's no like one single action that someone might do every single time.
Right.
So
Right.
like these like
Yeah.
round start matters also like what matters, right? So
Yeah. So the reason why I was writing out my round starts is because I tend to play round start extremely unsafe, and I'll like get blown up for that. So that was another thing I was like gonna be working on is
Yeah.
playing the round start a little bit safer. Well, we can see right here. I played round
Yeah.
start sidestepping, and then I instantly get in his face and do nothing, and get
well,
punished for
I
it.
feel like that's not exactly like
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's like we're already past the round start phase right now. The moment
Right.
you decide to take an immediate action of like just doing sidestep right and to
Right.
like round start, which is fine.
Right.
That's mostly fine, especially against Brian because Brian's mostly weak to sidestep right. Like his
Mhm.
jabs will be weak to that side. Maybe like a down for two would be weak to that side, right?
Mm-hmm.
So generally, like it's fine that you did that round start. It's just it was your action afterwards that what got you killed here, right? So it wasn't
Gotcha,
exactly
okay.
what your beginning sequence was. It's just what you decided to do afterwards, right? Because
Okay.
fighting games are always like play by play, right? Like they're always like moving in a very very fast pace.
Yeah.
Like your actions matter a lot. So you've
Right.
already decided, okay, round start. You both decided two sidestep.
Right.
He decided to try to catch your dash in timing. So that's
Right.
why he did like a round start. Like you remember what I was talking about earlier, like the whole sidestep block meta that I was talking about earlier. So he did he did the same thing here, where like you're both like deciding, okay, I'm gonna just do a sidestep right duck. Sorry, sidestep right block, which is exactly what he did there, right? Look at his inputs. He pressed
Right.
up, when neutral, then hold back afterwards.
Right.
Now he's just backdashing.
Right.
So this is what a more experienced player like understands what to do, right? And,
Right.
You're like, all right, sidestep right block. I'm trying to get in here, but this is like, if you just committed to a move here,
Right.
maybe like a 4-4-2 or maybe like a hell save or just something, right?
Right.
This first action would have went to you, but because of the hesitation, he ended up placing a keep out move, which is what Brides are notorious for known for doing, right?
Right. Right.
this is sort of what got you killed here. So it's like this is what I mean by play-by-play actions, right? Like
Right.
you choosing to be within striking range because you've already committed to a dash in. Like here, for example, like you shouldn't be hesitant.
Right.
Like, you should really keep it really, really simple, right? Remember that you're Reina. Reina is a space control monster. Meaning that if she decides to go in, she can go in, you know?
Right.
And if she decides to run away, she can run away, you know? So it's like, gotta be more confident in that.
Okay.
Alright. Now, let's actually watch the game and like not like over.
Yeah, gotcha. Or I spent like the first 20 minutes on just the round start.
Right. Okay, it goes forward, he dropped the combo, it's fine. You know what I mean? It's exactly what we want. Like, this is what I mean. If you're in head, you decide, hey, I'm gonna just go in here. Just go in. Like, don't overthink it, right? There's no like rocket science behind it, right? It's just, all right, I'm dashing, I'm gonna go in, and look at that, it worked. Messed up your input though, unfortunately, which is fine.
Yeah.
You tried to do send 2 there, I believe.
I think I just missed it. Yeah, I missed the timing.
Yeah, it happens. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 4, 3. But probably I'd keep out jab, right? Probably holding back, try to do a jab here. Yeah, it's common. Yeah, you're blocking me to try to do a jab. Yeah, this happens a lot.
I accidentally do that string. I don't ever mean to do that.
Yeah. So this string minus 13. So generally with Reina, certain punishes, rather certain moves will have a lot of pushback against us.
Right.
And certain punish sequences, for example, 2-2-1 here. I'm not sure if you were late or not. Hold on. Yeah, no, see that?
Right.
Sometimes like certain punish sequences will like not work out properly. Especially at 13 frames, right? So whenever we need like a long range with punish, right? So this is like the first like thing to like consider is when we need a long range punish on a minus 13 frame move or a little bit more. That's not like too far away, right? Because some moves will just be ridiculous speed pushback.
Right.
Like certain sequences like this. Always use 4-2-3. 4-2-3 is your most reliable. Let me go back a little bit. 4-2-3 is always your most reliable punish here, because it's essentially like first of all, it's a safe high mid check. So even if you mess it up, like you're still fine. But it has a really good range, right? See that? It's really easy to do. So this can also go into stance. So if you like, actually do it properly, you can go to stance afterwards, which is pretty good.
Right.
And like you don't really response for attempting it. So whenever you're in your head, you're like, okay, this is a minus 13 move. I know this is minus 13. Probably has a lot of pushback. 4-2-3 will be my go-to here, right? This is something that you gotta build over time. The more experience you build in this game.
Okay.
Because a lot of strings, especially when you like build enough awareness, notice, hey, there's a lot of pushback here, right?
Right.
You're probably opting for 4-2-3, but in the same time, you're only human, right? There's only so many times we're able to recognize that fast enough. Even myself, I've tried to like 2-2-1 punishes on certain things that just ended up whiffing. Same thing with down 4-1-2, which ended up whiffing because of the range being a problem. So just something that you learn over time. And this is one of those moves. Like Brian down 4-2-3 has a lot of pushback between you and the opponent, and this is always where you'll favor 4-2-3 over anything else.
Okay.
Same thing happens. A lot of Harong strings, a lot of like Xiaoyu strings, and so on and so on. But the more you explore the game, the more easier this will be to understand. Also, you do this a lot, and even Narset.
Yeah, I'm mashing 2-2-1, and I accidentally get two threes.
I see that.
Yeah.
You're mashing the one way too early. You gotta get comfortable, like just confirming 2-2-1.
Right.
And then just take your time buffering the move, right? Because if you just end up mashing it out way too fast, this ends up happening, which gets you killed a lot.
Yeah, I've seen this happen actually a couple times now that I've been implementing more moves, and this has been happening recently. So that's a new bad habit. Okay, hold on. Let me write that down, because
just get more comfortable, like just I guess you could say like just confirming 2-2-1. So just lightly tap 2-2-1. No, don't overcommit to the button. Don't get too excited. Just boom, boom, boom. Right, keep it easy on your hands.
Right.
Okay, so here to Necro catches you. Okay, so in situation like this,
right.
So this is the point I didn't talk about last time.
Right.
But generally is stage slash I guess we'll use 2D. I guess we'll use a 2D fighting game as a reference point here. Have you played a 2D fighting game before, like Street Fighter, KOF?
I played fighters before. I played Fighters.
Okay.
I play Guilty Gear plus R.
Okay.
Okay.
So where
those two
would you
games.
say? So
Mhm.
where would you say is the most vulnerable spot for you to be
Corner.
in that game? Corner. Exactly right.
Right. Right.
And in a similar sense, in second, where are we most vulnerable in?
Wall.
The wall, right? Exactly.
Right.
So because we're in a similar situation here,
Right.
whenever an opportunity presents itself for us to like escape the wall, because we don't want to
Yeah.
give our opponent all that advantage, right?
Right.
So here we're forced to like make a decision, right? He's +5.
Yeah.
We sort of we're either forced to block here or to slowly like challenge our way out of it.
Right.
A lot of things can happen here. So he decided to like after his plus frames, he decided to just take his positioning here, and he decided to like fish for like
A counter hit.
I guess you could say like he tried to cut you off so that you don't escape the wall as easily because a more experienced player will probably like favor like trying to escape the wall here. So he
Right.
Instinctively tried to cut you off so that you don't like try to like escape as easily.
Right.
And you'll see this in boxing a lot too. Like it's called ring cutting. If you ever like watch like a boxing match, you'll
Right.
see like how like the person who has the person in the corner will try to like cut off all their escape routes, right? Because they want to maintain that pressure on them. So it's like
Right.
the same thing here. So like he did the hatchet kick.
Right.
He knows that you still have an available gap to escape here by side step right.
Right.
So he decided to step instead just to can lock you down. See that?
Mm-hmm.
So that's sort of like
Interesting.
what a common response can be like from people that have a big heavy frame advantage, especially when they have like a good life lead, right? Like they're willing to take a challenge attempt because that's not really much risk for them because look at how much health they have, look at how much health you have, right? That's more of a risk on your end.
Right.
So they'll cut off your escape route, and then he tried to fish for a back four here, which he got really greedy with, but that's just common Brian 101.
Right.
Because back four will give them like that free jet up air, and if it hits, then yada yada yada, you're pretty much guaranteed dead.
Right.
So he tried to cut you off here. Then afterwards, he's forced to respect, right?
Right.
So now, if you're in this position next time, right?
Right.
Yes, back four is my send, but like it's too much pushback. No one's punching this besides maybe like Jack.
Yeah.
So like in this situation, right? You can either do two
Right.
things. You can either do like you can either decide to take your turn,
Right.
which you try to punish here. I'm sure you're probably like, oh, is that a minus 12 move or maybe?
Yeah.
But generally, whenever you're in this situation again, and you know that the move you're up against is not punishable, two things can either happen here. You
Right.
can either fight your way out of the wall. This is like the most two common ways to escape wall situations, right? First
Yeah.
one being either fight your way out, meaning that enforce some form of like mix that will let you escape, and then
Yeah.
in this case it can be like a 4-4-2, for example. So the moment I block the back two, I can now start fighting my way out of the wall. See that?
Right.
See how you're like slowly like pushing yourself away?
Right.
Like now you're able to get that maybe going, and then as you like even like after the hidden gauge lands, right?
Right.
You can either opt in for just still better positioning because you're plus 17. They're most likely gonna respect whatever you're gonna throw that away, right?
Right.
So you can slowly like change your timing by covering two things, for example, right? So here I'll
Right.
show you what that means. So let's say they block this. Let's say they block this. I take my turn. Let's say that landed. I'll go for like a size of 4 here, or maybe go for like a health save immediately,
Right.
or I can go for like this, and then do a small side step, and then do this. Well, he low everything there, right? You know what I mean? Like,
No, I know what you
you're
mean.
covering two actions at once, because one,
Right.
you're putting yourself in a better position,
Right.
really quickly by doing a small side step, and then afterwards taking your mix up, right?
Right.
He's forced to block in this situation, unless he's gonna be crazy and like try to match on you, which
Right.
can happen, but
Yeah.
generally, like you just want to play on the immediate timing as a first response.
Right.
Afterwards, you start planting the hell sleeves after the side step because I guess think about it like this, right? When
Yeah.
you're first land your first heat engager or whatnot, you
Mhm.
don't want to show an immediate gap available.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing you want to do is check them, right? Are they going to mash on my running 3? Are they going to challenge that or not?
Mm-hmm.
I guess like that's another thing we got to talk about is like if you remember we talked about it earlier yesterday, right? Like the whole RPS meta, right? Because
Right.
we add more mental sack to see like how they're responding. So as your first response should be, are they willing to challenge my running moves? Because those are they are available to be challenged, right? So it's like
Mm-hmm.
first of all, are they gonna see, hey, are they gonna respect me? Are they gonna like allow me to run my pressure here? Or are they gonna try to do disrespect me? And then now I gotta keep this smaller with stuff like 4-4 instead of running 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or like immediate health sip and so on, so on. So it's like you still want to have that be your first response because as you're phasing through the round, right? Like the first action here was okay. First of all, escape the wall, right? And
Right.
now we're in the next phase of okay, you've successfully saved the wall now. Now you're
Right.
on to the next phase of the comeback phase, right? So how do I get my flow going here, right? Now you're in heat.
Right.
You're able to do a lot of chip damage here, more than you normally would.
Yeah.
And now you're able to have the momentum be in your way. And
Right.
when Reina's momentum gets going, she's really hard to stop, right? So it's like
Yeah.
it's really really good in our favor. That's sort of generally how like the momentum of the matches flow between this game and why it's super important.
Mm-hmm.
So like you can see how like all these like small actions can lead to something much bigger, and like why like movement is so important, like why stage awareness is so important, and like why like just even like having like stage awareness is like fighting for positioning and so on and so on, like super important neutral. But yeah, let me just go back to this. All right, so what happens next? What is going on here? What the fuck? Oh, I have turbo on. There you go.
Oh, that string
Yeah.
comes out again.
Yeah, 2-2-1. You gotta definitely,
Right.
you definitely gotta work on that.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
Hey.
See, okay, I have another note about the next sequence that happens.
Hmm?
So just you gotta stop mashing that,
Okay.
and then
So
I
launch you here.
go for empty sentai there. Hold on. Hey.
Bum. Okay, he tries to launch you, messes it up. Okay, he doesn't maybe a duck afterwards. Okay, 4 for 2. That's fine. Like
Yeah.
4 for 2 empty here is fine.
Right.
But I feel like it's not worth going for,
Mhm.
especially when you're entering stance, right? So when you go for 4 for 2 empty, don't ever go into stance, because
Right.
when you go into stance but do nothing, right?
Yeah.
You cannot block the jab attempts here, right? So if you're looking for a jab attempt, either commit to a stance option that might be the jab attempt, or just do 4 for 2 empty. No stance side, because when you enter stance, you're actually like punishable by like 11 frame moves and
You know what?
12 frames as well.
He actually told me, the Brian player, he told me that whenever he sees me do a sentai, he always tries to attempt to challenge me, because
Because people can react to the stance itself.
yeah. Also, another thing, I gamble too much with 4 neutral 3 and full couch 4, like often, and I need
what
to
do you
stop
mean
doing that. Just try to go for a straight counter hit. Like I'm not
good.
trying.
No.
That's
I think
good?
4 neutral 3 is fine. Yeah, 4
Really?
neutral 3 is good. Yeah, because that's one of your counter fishing tools, especially when you're like, when you're just in neutral, right? And you're fishing for
Right.
them, like if you have like, it's like think of it as like Brian 3+4, right? When
Right.
you have an idea of either them like approaching with a certain move,
Yeah.
or when they're like trying to like sidestep to a certain side, might do like a button afterwards. Like 4 neutral 3 does have some high evasion at certain frames. And it's a really good it's a really good far reaching kick. Like it's actually underutilized, to be honest. It's not a bad move at all, actually.
Okay.
Same thing. I encourage you to use it more. Just don't over spam it, right? Like remember, this is a counter hit pushing move.
Right.
Meaning that it's more like a one-time thing where it's like, okay, I have a feeling I might match at this certain timing. I'm gonna throw it out this time.
Right.
If it doesn't land, okay, move on to the next thing. I'm not gonna, it's not something that I'm gonna use, or it's not something I'm gonna overuse neutral, right?
Right.
Just something I'm gonna use from time to time, which is still good,
Right. Okay.
Full crouch down forward 4 though is interesting. You mean like when you're crouching, you're fishing for that?
Yeah. Sometimes I'm fishing for it because my combo execution is like really good. I would say.
So yeah. Okay. So here. So yeah, like I mentioned earlier, 4-4-2 empty. Never go for that. Never go for that.
Okay.
Like, because 4-4-2 empty will leave you punishable, like I mentioned earlier, and that will not be the jab attempt. If anything, that leaves you vulnerable to eating the jab attempt without taking much more than your end.
Sentai empty, right?
Yeah. Sorry. What was that? Was I saying something else?
Yeah. So it was 442 empty. 442 empty is just like 442 and then do nothing.
Yeah. Exactly. So sorry.
I'm going to stance with 442, which is that's the no.
Yeah, exactly, because that leaves you vulnerable, and if you're looking to beat jab attempts, you're literally gonna eat it for free now, because you're not throwing anything their way, and that's the risk part of 442 Sentai is that you don't commit to an option, you're still vulnerable to getting punished, and unfortunately this is like the worst with the 112 Sentai.
Yeah.
There's a bug in this game where you're animation locked for 11 plus frames, and like
Right.
you're vulnerable to eating like 19 frame moves, like up to 19 frame, which is insanely bad.
Right. Okay.
So it's like, generally for the most part, empty stance is fine from 4-2-3 Sentai, because you can block off of that, and down for 1 Sentai. So down for 1 Sentai is fine. 4-2-3 Sentai is fine. Other than those two things, don't bother like going to empty sensei. It's always bad for you.
Okay.
All right.
And
So this is fine. So this is fine. Like
You think-
this is a good attempt.
Okay. Because I was just thinking to myself like, yeah, I gambled that move a little bit too much. But
It's
I
fine.
tried.
I think it's fine. 'Cause,
Okay.
the reason why is like, okay, once you won here,
Right.
if you dashed it to a little bit here, like here, like the only reason why this lost here is because you didn't dash in deep enough for it. Okay,
Right.
I'll show you. So let me do this. Let me just like dash in properly. So like, see that? So
Yeah.
would it worked here had you had like just a better, just a little bit better timing off of it. But that's just
Right.
sort of how like fighting games are, right? You can't always be correct.
Right.
But it's like the potential is still there. He just decided to like time his step very very well, which ended up making this whip. But it's not that's not because you had a bad idea, right?
Right.
He just did a correct play there, which is like timing his step very really well, which ended up working out for in your favor, right?
Right.
So remember, you can't always be right in a fighting game, right? Like not every decision has to be bad. Like sometimes you gotta just give your opponent credit for making the correct timing read, right?
Right.
Like not everything is like, oh wow, I shouldn't do that probably. No, it's like
Right.
no, everything can still have like good reasoning behind it, as long as like as long as there's like proper logic behind it, right? Otherwise, like all these like attempts that we're fishing for, right? We can't get if we're too scared to go for it to begin with, right? We can't get much reward anyways. So it's like we gotta still be willing to take those risks and sometimes be willing to eat some damage back in case we mess it up, right? It's just fine.
Right.
Like part of fighting games is just taking risks. You can't be scared to go in, right?
Right.
Or can't be scared to especially with a move as good as Ninja 3, because the reward on that is great. Like on block, it's safe, has really good range, and like on reward on counter, it's really really good. So it's like
Yeah.
definitely like don't be scared to use that more. But like I said, it's not something you should overspam because we have way better approach tools, stuff like CD3. And here, for example, like roundside meta, like down for one here is really really good because
Right.
I
I try to go for.
always have to.
Yeah, I think I messed up. I think I just messed up with the timing. I did not mean to do the grab.
That's fine. It happens.
Yeah.
I guess a little no, I guess round start. If you're willing to swing round start, don't bother going to stand stuff because like in case you end up in a situation like this, right? Where like let's say the down for one landed, or you got like a float here off of it by chance by any means, right? You don't want to like end up in this position again. So just like keep it simple, like a simple down for one check, because that opens up your options way more and makes you less committal, right? Because down for one is 30 frame mid obviously. Only -3 allows you to do a lot afterwards, even like a single poke. So like let's say the down for one land, right? Okay, now you have plus strings to work with, right? And on block you're only -3, meaning that now you're opening up the idea of, will I go for like stance, or will I go for the string follow up, or will I go for a side step afterwards? Will I do nothing? Will I do like a generic low to crush your high attempt afterwards? Like there's so many things that can happen from a single down for one, right?
Right.
Like it's like there's so much stuff that can happen, and it's like what was I gonna say? Like because there's so much sequences that can happen. It's like it's such a small action, but it can lead to a lot of other things happening as well. So it's like keeping it small yet still like having your options still be available is also really really good. So it's like that's sort of like how the flow of the tool journey goes. It's like, okay, I can do many things here, so it's up to me to make that choice, right?
Yeah, got it.
But like committing to a stance option limits a lot of your stuff, right? So like try to like make that less of a habit.
Okay.
Okay, 4-3. So 4-3. Okay. Boom, boom. Okay. So generally after this is like a common flowchart that we see from Brian's, right? They'll do if ever get hit by hatchet kick. Two things will happen here. They'll either do a quick mid check with down 4-2. Maybe get greedy and do like another soccer kick, or maybe do like a back one. Right. Which I'll show you what that looks like. So let me. Oh, I pushed the wrong character. Hold on. Boom, boom. Let me do this real quick. So, okay. Where's the hatchet happen? Here. Okay. So generally after hatchet kick, a lot of Brians will choose to do a couple of things, right? Okay. So they might do like a quick mid check, which is what he's doing here. They might go for something more greedy, like a back one. They might go for something else, like a down two, right? So common 3 flowchart we'll see afterwards, right? Some people might even go for like another hatchet kick, or they might go for like the more meta stuff like this or like this, or even going for this move right here. Point is, a lot of things can happen after this sequence, and this is what I mean by like paying attention to like flowcharts.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of good Bryans will do the same sequences, right? So like this is what I mean by like understanding what a good flowchart is and knowing how to beat it.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll do soccer kick here. Afterwards, he'll do a quick fit check. So when we're aware of certain flowcharts, and this being one of them, this is like what a good defensive response would be like on your end, and this is sort of what builds mind games.
Okay.
Is like understanding what a move is weak to, right? So in this case, generally most of the time, whenever you like a hatchet kick, most of the time you're able to sidestep right. But sometimes certain angles will not allow you to, and sadly this is one of them. So it's like
Yeah.
sometimes you're able to sidestep afterwards. Sometimes it can be really hard. So it's really dependent. So sadly in this situation you weren't able to. But I think it's most of the time you're able to sidestep right to that down 4-2 attempts. And Bryans are forced to go for down 2 afterwards, which is their answer for beating that. But here, bad angle, which happens, so not really much to work with here.
I
But
keep
generally,
getting clipped by those moves. Like I
Yeah,
got backdash once more. I'm just like, oh, I got hit by that too.
It's because this game is like not just spacing dependent, but also like axis dependent on some moves, right?
Yeah.
When you're like, I guess let me pull out the good old drawing board here, right?
All right, cool. I'm actually properly recording this time, so I'll be able to see it.
Let me do this real quick. Boom, boom. Here we go. So, whenever because I say it's like off axis dependent, right? Let me draw Ryan here. Okay, we'll just say that this is Ryan, okay? And we'll say this is you. Like, let's say this is you right here.
Right.
So generally when he does like, okay, let's say this is hatchet kick into down 4-2 attempt, right? This is like the follow up sequence afterwards. And let's say that you were originally here when the hatchet kick landed. And then you gotta go here to step it, right?
Right.
So generally this is where it's weak to, right? Let me zoom in actually, just so it makes more sense. Let me just get another color here. So let's say you're at this point, where the hatchet kick landed.
Right.
Like just coincides with what this looks like.
Okay.
And then you have to sidestep right? And this is where it's weak to. Like we'll call this the green zone. Like this is where it's weak to, right?
Okay.
So in this situation, because you're at the right axis / facing, you're able to step. But sometimes when you're like, let's say that you're over here, for example. Let's say you got hit by over here, right?
Right.
And the green zone is over here, right? But there's still that small zone that we still hate. I'll put it like here,
Right.
where it's like, as we're slowly attempting to sidestep, like let's say we're going over here, and let's say the same sequence happens, right? Sometimes because we're like in the off angle and we were trying to sidestep to the area where we're technically able to step to, because of the because we're slightly off axis to the left. This is what we call the Z axis, I guess you could say, like in between, like because this is how a 3D plane works, right? We have X and Y axis, and we have the Z axis, right? Like the third plane. This is like how 3D games work. So because we're in like the Z axis here, we're trying to like go to what we call the safe range of being in step. Sometimes we'll get screwed over because we're just slightly off axis, and this is one of those moments where like, okay, I'm off axis here.
Okay.
Normally I would be able to sidestep the sequence.
Yeah.
But because we're slightly off axis here, if we went right, it doesn't really let us do it here. So unfortunate situation here, but generally like that's if sometimes a certain thing is weak to a certain side, but you're still not able to step, that is your reasoning behind that. It's because sometimes you're off axis. Or if the wall's in play, then the wall can also be a factor as well, right? A lot of things happen there. But generally against this thing right here, you want to do like a step right. So boom, boom. Okay, 3+4. Matching here, matching. Okay. 4-3. Hatchet. Okay. See here again. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, get hits. You're forced to respect here, unfortunately. That was a good 4-4-2 attempt, but just needs to be a little bit more like willing to dash in with it. Okay, it's fine. That's up to you guys. Nice. Okay, get your flow going. We don't have to take that risk. Okay. Okay. So CD14. Don't use this move unless you're at the wall. CD14 is only useful at the wall.
Yeah.
In the open, we're sacrificing a lot of potential damage here because we have way more to work with here, right? So we're +8. We have way more options locked down your opponent, especially when you're within frames, right? And like the reward off of it is much better, right? So here they're offering you respect. you don't want to go for like a CD14 here because you end up gambling way too hard on a sequence where you
Right.
should have, you could have been able to like still be within frames, right? So let's say, for example, you decided to do like a heat press here, or maybe like you do like a jab float, right? Whatever the case might
Right.
be. This is obviously like just theory, but
Right.
here he showed that he's willing to respect you.
Right.
But it's like you could have achieved a lot more here. The more like I guess the more I guess you could say like the more like logical approach would have been like just doing this.
Mm.
So you could have done like rack 3-4, then do another rack 3-4. Because remember earlier, right? When I said that we gotta fish for like stage positioning and whatnot. This is sort of
Right.
how we slowly push our opponent towards the wall. This is sort of how we get our flow going, right? And this is sort of where like Reina shines, right? We're slowly able to push our opponent towards the wall, and that's why sometimes you'll see me or like other Reina players will just loop rack 3-4 all the time. It's
Right.
because like in the open, right? We're still obviously weak side step, right, or like a jab float. But if they're offering us enough respect, right, we're still able to like slowly fish our way towards the wall. So we'll do this. So rat 3-4, enter stance. So this is sort of what I mean. So see how like we'll do that 2 times, and afterwards we're able to put them in a position where we're able to like potentially have them like either like eat the
The Sentai one.
like eat like a 3-5 afterwards, or maybe like eat like a 3+4 afterwards.
Right.
Like we're still playing within frames, right? The only
Right.
risk we're taking is like them attempting to like bravely sidewalk. By the way, I say this between like in all caps, bravely sidewalk, because the moment we attempt anything here, like a Wrath 1, Wrath 3+4, Wrath 2, these are all within frame traps that they cannot sidewalk.
Yeah.
Except for Wrath 2, because Wrath 2, for some reason, after our Wrath 3-4 can be sidewalked in this situation. It's sort of like, I don't know why it happens, to be honest with you, but the game is RNG like that sometimes, so something can be unexplainable. But the point is, Wrath 3+4 is still a good option. If you try to match on this with like a jab check, Wrath 2, they eat that for full damage, and so on, right? So we still maintain our pressure while still fishing for a potential reward, right?
Right.
So CD14 here, it's like it's a huge risk on your end.
It works, but I understand the risk, because I can easily get heat bursted and like brought down into a bound.
It's not just that. You're also like giving up all like you're essentially like I guess you could say like imagine like a roulette table, right? You just gamble it all on green right now, hoping for the best. It's like you're willing to like risk it all for like this one sequence, and it's like the amount of risk you're taking is like that's not really worth it, because it's like okay, CD14 lands here, like what do you get off of it, right? Like okay, you got a knockdown, what else, right? Whereas like if you went for like Wrath 2, guess what? You open up heat.
Yeah.
If you go for Wrath 3+4, you get a knockdown for another follow-up.
Right.
Wrath 1-4 or Wrath like 1 Sentai 3 or Wrath 1 Sentai 1+2, depending on whatever lands, right?
Right.
Like that also opens up a lot more reward, because that pushes them towards the wall, and like you're still playing within frames, meaning that now, because next time they eat a Wrath 3-4, they'll be more scared to mash on you. And this is what I mean by our previous point, right? Mental stack. Mental stack is you willing to showcase correct options that might beat out challenge attempts, which forces them to respect you more, right?
Right.
It's like if you show like big enough gaps like this all the time, it's like, first of all, you're over cashing out on your potential like pressure here. Like, okay, now you did TC14, it got blocked, and now you're -7. So like, what can you do here to pressure with, right? Like this is it's like, okay, you decided to cash it all out. He ended up blocking, right?
Yeah.
You have him at the wall, but now it's his turn. So it's like,
Right.
how do you maintain pressure here? He ended up respecting you anyways here, but if he was more aware, he could have easily matched on you here. He could have like immediately like stopped you, but he had to respect you here, probably out of familiarity, probably.
Right.
That's what I mean. Oh, nice attempt on the 1, 2, 3, 4 confirm. But this is just what I mean. Like, you decided to go in after CD14 here as well. It's like, it's ballsy, because like you're -7, but you're still deciding to match in, right? That's like,
Right.
holy shit! Like this guy does not care. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So like this is another thing. It's like you can maintain your pressure through other means while not taking meaningless risks like this, right? Like there's no reason to risk it all over CD14. It's like, okay, what's my reward here, right? Like -7. What's the point of going for that, right? Like what am I gonna do here, right? Like okay, let's say CD14 landed, right? What am I gonna get off of this? It's like try to make your decision making make more like sense, right? It's like, okay, I'm pushing for CD14 here. Like what was the point of going for this, right?
Right.
Like try to have more like logic behind, like I guess more not logic, but rather like reasoning behind like your like decisions, especially when you're like pushing them towards the wall, right?
Okay.
So that's what matters. But here, like you managed to still make it back because he ended up giving you respect anyways. But
Yeah.
I guess a more like higher level opponent, or I guess you could say like a more experienced opponent, like they'll definitely have on that. So
Yeah.
At your current level though, it wouldn't matter too much. But
Mhm.
the higher you climb, the more tight you gotta be, you know.
Right.
Right, running 3. You do jab sequence. Nice. 1, 2, 3 land. This is a awkward confirm. It is confirmable, but it's pretty awkward. But I respect you attempting it.
Yeah. So I knew the wall. If I got wall splat, I get a lot of damage off of it.
Yeah. This is like this is really good because running 3 plus
Yeah.
6, right? And
Right.
like if they try to like power crush here, they lose. Try to step, they lose.
Yeah.
And like obviously the third hit. This is what I mean by like risk making sense here. 1, 2,
Right.
3, 4. If it lands right with
Right.
the third hit being like a hit confirmable like follow up here with a high, it works right because it's a full wall splat and whatnot. And it's still pretty
Right.
hard to confirm, but it is
Right. I think I delayed it, which is why it didn't hit confirm.
Yeah. Like it's a small delay window, so you gotta be careful. Okay, 1, 2, 1. This was perfect. This is perfect. This is what I mean by having your flow of neutral be like really good. Look, okay, he did 1, 2, 1 here. That's a big gap on his end, so you immediately took that advantage and went for immediate health. This is good. This is good. This is what I mean by like seeing like this. Remember from my previous notes, right? Like having an opportunity. Like, let me pull it up here. Like go back into your strengths, right?
Right.
Not being afraid of going in, opportunity present itself, right? This is what I
Right.
talked about last time, and this is where it's being showcased again. Like, hey,
Mhm.
you're not afraid to go in. Like you saw a gap, I'll take it,
Mhm.
and now you're +6 in the wall. You go for the first option, and then grab. This is what I mean. This is
Right.
what I mean by having a good flow. Like,
Mhm.
Wrath 3/4. This is into a frame trap, unbreakable grab. This is what I mean by having like a really good like.
I
flow
think
chart. This is
afterwards I try to go for a sidestep 4. Let me see. Yep.
yeah.
No. I go
Down
for
41.
down for 1.
To step with them.
Mm.
So because the unbreakable grab doesn't leave us at a good frame advantage afterwards,
Right.
like this would have been fine had you like had like more frames to work with.
Right.
But because they tried to make the unbreakable grab not too overpowered, right? They don't want they don't want to give you like too much okay off of this, right?
Right.
So generally as a first response, I don't tend to like immediately to take an action afterwards. I tend to either just try to step with them and then see how they wake up, because a lot of Bryans will do wake up wall 73. This is like a panic move on their end, right? Because this is like a quick 12 frame counter hit launching knee that they'll always spam and wake up, and like it's always something they'll try to fish for in order to have a combat going.
Uh-huh.
First, yeah. So like if you know you have the Oki for it, then doing like a side step, which is first of all, you stepping with their tech roll the direction here is already good. This is something you should keep up more of.
Right.
But generally you should replace your down for 1 attempt with a forward 4s. Forward 4, if you have the frames for it, will give you much better rewards to work with. Obviously it'll be a wake up attempt as well if you have the frames for it, which generally most of the time you do. So if you do like a wall combo like down for 1, 1, 1 plus 2 for example, or like 1, 1 down 3 plus 4, 4, then yes, you do have the timing to sidestep with their circle timing, do 4, 4. Otherwise, like certain situations, like for example the unbreakable grab, don't leave you at a bigger frame advantage, meaning that afterwards you can either go for like a more committal option. So let's say you go for like something like this for example. You can go for that for example, but you gotta take a faster action to do that.
Right.
So you can't exactly like sidestep with them and then do something afterwards. You gotta take more of an immediate action because your frames are a lot less. And this makes more sense like the more you explore this kit, right? So like understanding when you're advantage, understanding when you're like at a disadvantage. For example, like her jab saw bender combo, right? For example, that one. Like after that, you're at a big disadvantage, right? Like you're punishable on hit if a person goes for like a toe kick or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So understanding that situations like those require more of an immediate action,
Yeah.
less of a hey, I can take my time here, deciding what I want to do next, right? Because you're not at a big Oki here. So.
Right.
And we'll definitely cover that once we get into, I guess, exploring the more Reina's kit. I guess you could say like going more in depth of hey, what are some good flowcharts here? Like what are some good frame situations here? Like why we're going for certain things here? It all makes more sense the more like in depth I go into it, right? And today we're just gonna cover the different matches here, but
yeah.
All right, enough rambling because we got matches to watch, so I'll try to speed run through this before we see the next here.
All good.
Go there. Big combo. Good break attempt. Okay, this is fine because if he decided to run up like taunt setup here, because a lot of Bryans will do like a taunt setup, right?
Right.
This is a good risk to take. Unfortunately, it didn't work out in your favor here, but you know, I respect the attempt. It's like, you know, there's logic behind that pretty good attempt, so it's fine.
Right.
And of course, not heat smash. Hate that they buffed that, but here we are. Okay, 4/2 attempt here, it's fine. 4/2 MT, unfortunately, again. Here it worked out funny enough. Running free, and Neffy, who's going to duck. Bum bum, bum bum bum. Here. Now here, you know, just like we mentioned earlier, now we have much better okay. So yeah, he sidestep there. He did a back curling instead, which is fine. And then, you know, now I can still use your full going, right? Jab attempt probably. Yeah, here we just missed up the cost of you, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So what were you trying to do here? House sweep. What were you trying to do, like a jab here?
I was trying to bait out an option or something like that. Like get him.
Okay.
I think I was I do this to like try to like get them to do something, like be scared or something like that.
Right.
Adding.
So.
What's up?
Okay, go ahead. No, I was gonna say like that's a good strategy to have, but
Yeah.
generally more in the open space. 'Cause
Yeah.
in the open space, there's a lot of potential counterplay they're able to apply.
Right.
Whereas at the wall, right, their options are more limited, right?
Mm.
So it's like when your options are more limited, it's much more beneficial for you to still take like a Wrath 3+4 attempt afterwards, maybe like a Wrath 2 attempt, because their options are more limited, right? Like they can only do so much.
Yeah.
Whereas in the open space, they have, you know, because of that big gap that helps you lose you in, they have a lot more available counterplay to showcase, right? Maybe like a backdash, maybe like a side up right, and so on and so on, right?
Right.
So like just being more comfortable, like taking an option at the wall should be fine, but also canceling it is also fine. But as long as you like correctly, like, you know, for example, if I was here, right?
Yeah.
What I mean. So if you remember what I talked about earlier, right? It's called corner cutting. We can do a similar sequence here, where it's like, okay, we'll go for the hell sweep, and we go for it super quick. So we do side step here, then boom, boom. This is what I mean. Like we'll cancel the hell sweep. We'll slowly cut off the route of escape, and then see what they do, right? Because this will cover 2 options, right? This will cover like any like immediate like mashing here. Whereas like when you cancel the stance here, right? You're still ending up swinging anyways, which is more of a misinput, right?
Yeah, it was
but, like
a
you can sort of see like how that would have potentially got you killed, right? So getting more comfortable just with the cancel off of hell sweep, right? So you do like a down forward one, you do like a down forward back cancel, then afterwards, you know, getting more comfortable with like cancel, right?
Right.
So I guess you can say this is more homework for you, I guess, like getting more comfortable with the heavy draft cancel. And then slowly just being more mindful of your position here, just trying to cut off a little more corners, just to like cover your options a little bit. Because here it's like, okay, even here, like you try to do like a side step, you ended up stepping towards the wall, which ended up getting you like hit by the jab here.
Yeah.
Whereas like if you like went the opposite direction, like this would have been way better for you. But see how like this small action costed you here?
Yeah.
Like, you're already at the corner, right?
Right.
You're trying to step into the wall, and it's like, where are you gonna go, sir? You know?
Okay. I understand.
So it's like, yeah, so it's like, you're not going anywhere here. You end up letting him like get this match on you, and then, you know, now he's able to escape. See that? See how now he's like fighting his way out of the wall?
Yeah.
Like after he landed the hit, decided to take the opportunity to escape the wall here, and then afterwards try and take his options. This is what I mean by like positioning. This is why positioning matters a lot in this game, and why a lot of people will try to fight their way out of the wall and like try to not give you that positioning, and so on, right?
Right.
But yeah, here, like a little bit of a match sequence. Get a block on you, no punish though. That's fine. It happens. I was watching one attempt. I know that for sure. Watching one attempt. Yeah, it was watching one attempt. Okay, 3, 4, 4. That's good. See, that was a really good cut option, but you know, hate smash being slow, it happens.
Yeah. I pressed.
Yeah,
I got hit by a taunt gen upper.
He didn't even land. He just ended up landing it. Yeah, that wasn't real TGU. He just ended up like, I think he tried to mash here. No, he went to neutral. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went to neutral. See, how he ended up in neutral here? That's the only reason why he got hit.
Okay.
But yeah, Wall 3 is like another mind game that Brian's will run into, because Wall 3 is punishable, right? But if you try to punish it and he does the follow up, then you end up getting the counter knee.
Okay.
Boom, boom. Back to 4. Yep. And then probably death. Whoa, what the fuck was that? Okay, this is his desperation moment right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just a comment too, because this is a plus on block reversal that Brian has in Heat.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, not in Heat, in Snake Eyes install.
Yeah.
So this is something that they'll commonly fish for, because whatever move you throw their way will end up getting absorbed here. So
Right.
this is like a common filter they'll do as well. Which he got greedy as hell there.
Yeah.
All right, let's
Alright.
watch one more game here. 'Cause
Yeah.
I know I have a little bit too much there, but we're exploring a lot of stuff here. And then
That's fine.
most of the time, once you cover the basis of this, you can
Mhm.
see like a common pattern here. Then the rest becomes like, how did I approach this situation? How did I approach that? What should I
Right.
be working on moving forward and whatnot? So watch this quick game here. Let's see what you ended up adapting with here. That ended up getting
Yeah.
you a lot of momentum.
Yeah, like the matches after these started becoming a little bit more closer.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see what you
Mhm.
end up doing here. That changed. So okay, let's see. Okay, see that 4-3. It's a good move. Don't be scared.
Right.
It works.
Right.
All right. Let's see. Cool. Good. Keeping your frame position within sight. Again, this is like the third time. I remember we covered this yesterday. You said you were more scared to go for 4-4-2-10-3 at
Yeah.
like a confirm.
Yeah.
And I reinstate my point. Don't be scared to go for 4-2-2-10-3. Like most people, like yes, there's a confirm window, but it feels like you're too scared to attempt it to begin with. Like don't be scared to go for it at all. Try to have it like be okay in your head to
Mhm.
even like flowchart 4-4-2-10-3, because it won't always get ducked, right? Some people will jab, some people will end up trying to sidestep, whatever the case
Right.
might be, right?
Right.
So like don't be scared to go for it, even if they duck it. Still, don't be scared. Try to
Mhm.
attempt it anyways. Just obviously keep your options open, right?
Right.
Because the potential reward off of it is still insane. So it's like don't be scared.
Right. I think I tried to do it electric after the down 4-2. It was
It
electric.
happens.
Yeah.
That was a good electric placement. It's just that execution was a factor here. So just getting more comfortable. I guess you could say like a little drill for you to start getting used to is
Yes.
like backdash electrics, right? So just doing like a active electric, getting more comfortable doing like a even like a back even like here, right? So forward to 3.
Yeah.
Like try to finish everything afterwards, right?
Right.
Like here he does a challenge. Just getting more comfortable doing this, right?
Mhm.
Afterwards getting a reward. So just getting more comfortable doing like a side-step electric, backdash electric, and just dash electric, right? All three
Okay.
sequences that are different, but they're still like worth adding to your arsenal. Just makes your approach so much better, because especially as Reina, right? Like your whip punishment with electric has to be like key.
Okay.
It's not something you gotta overly rely on though, and like I'll touch upon this in our next session.
Okay.
Just like what are our best whip punch tools, right? Some things
Right.
will be really quick to whip, right?
Right.
And sometimes you're forced to utilize a jab punish over a full-on launcher, like down 4-2, electric, whatnot. Like there's different recovery moves that have a lot of different frames, right? Some of them are slow to recover, some of them are really fast to recover, right? So
Mhm.
realistically, getting like a full-on launcher on a move that recovers really quickly, like a jab, for example, on reaction is like super difficult, right? So it's like
Right.
sometimes easier to just keep it simple. But I'll cover that more in our next session.
Not a problem. All right. I'm writing down some homework for me to practice on.
You're fine. Okay. Zone plus 2 here, which is good. Bum. Okay, Ratu afterwards. That was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Because 4-4-3 leaves you -3, and allows you to have that fishing to work with, right? So like you're fishing for a challenge attempt here, maybe like a Lost 4, maybe like something else, right?
Right.
And you saw that nothing came your way, so now afterwards you took your turn. This is what I mean by this is like your biggest strength right now.
Right.
Is like your ability to understand the flow very, very well. Like understanding like, okay, nothing coming my way. All right, I'm gonna capitalize on that, right? I'm gonna take advantage of that. I'm gonna keep going in afterwards. This is
Right.
a really good strength of yours right now. This is definitely something you should keep honing more.
Okay.
Okay, bomb. What did I do here? Did I try to challenge? Hit the power crush, but he was late. Okay. Boom. Oh, if he get like a bigger punch here, it would have died. Yeah,
I
have very active frames, so
I
that's
don't
why.
really see, or I think I'm too scared to punish spring kicks. I think that's another problem I have. I get spring kick quite often, and my go-to punish is 1-1-2 for some reason, which I can get so much more. This is launch punishable.
Yeah. It's because spring kicks in this game, as you can see, like if you pay attention to the frames out of there, right?
Right.
Yeah, attack startup frame, right? Between
Right.
19 to 30.
Right.
That means that this move has a lot of variable frames,
Yeah.
and it's not always launch punishable, right? Like sometimes if you block it very, very far away, it can
Yeah.
be like maybe like -14, -13, whatever the case might be. Sometimes if you block it like absolute tip, it can be like -10, which is crazy. But like that's extremely rare for it to happen. So most of the time, just keeping it simple, like a 2-2-1 can be really good because that still gives you knockdown to work with,
Right.
and like you're much higher damage punish than like 1-1-2, for example, right?
Right.
So just if you really want to play it safe, the 2-2-1 can be easy to go for because 2-2-1 is also confirmable, meaning that similar to 1-1-2, where they both have a good generous confirm window and don't have to like risk that much, right? So I guess you could say like getting more comfortable punishing with 2-2-1 here can be a lot more beneficial for you. Also, 2 attempt. This is also -10, by the way, if you didn't know. So definitely punishes.
Gotcha.
Bum, bum. Okay, good string attempt. Oh, it was a really good side step, by the way. It's okay. So this is what I mean. Like I remember earlier, I was saying like after like down for 1 or down for 1-1, we still have the ability to side step afterwards.
Yeah.
This is what I mean. Like you did it perfectly. Like that was a perfect side step. Like see how you did you instinctively did like a side step block here, which I'm not sure like if you were like fishing for that or just happened to happen here. But like this is like this was super clean.
Like, it just happened. Most of the time when I'm trying to sidestep someone, it usually just kind of like it just happens out of nowhere, right?
it looked clean enough. So
like I wasn't ready.
Yeah, so it matters to oh my god, I whiffed. It matters to like I guess whenever you're like in your head, you think of a sidestep attempt, right?
Right.
Just being able to visually whiff punish better. Like that's another thing that a lot of people like don't train enough is being able to visually react if I guess you could say like it's called visually whiff confirming if a move whiffs or not, right? So like seeing a move physically whiffs and then being able to react fast enough to block it to block and punish, right? And this is like I guess we'll talk about it briefly because I want to go more in depth over it in our next session. But right now, I'll just cover it really briefly. Is like different punish sequences, right? So we have like the up close punishment, which is like one, stuff like 1-1-2, for example. So that's hit confirmable, really easy to do.
Right.
Same thing with 2-2-1. 2-2-1 can give us a huge reward, especially if we're within range.
Right.
And that's like our go-to like confirmable with punishers that are like really strong, right? And
right.
that's for like up close and personal stuff. Sometimes certain moves will leave someone in crouch, and then that's where we opt in for more like mid-specific moves, like down for 1-2 maybe, or 4-4-2 even, because 4-4-2 is like our go-to move for a lot of things, right? 4-4-2 and 3, down for 1-2 could also be an option, and like that's our go-to stuff for like crouching status specific things, or like maybe like 4-4-2 for example for like more further ranger things, and then obviously 3+4-4 being our best punisher for like super far range things, that or like 4-4-2. So either that, or of course our like go-to launcher down 4-2 as well. But that's just a little brief summary of it. I'm not gonna go into too much detail over it because I want to focus on this match as well. But just an idea of like what whiff confirming looks like and like what we should be thinking about during those moments, and it'll make more sense in our next session, like I said. But right now, just a little brief, like I guess you could say like a little note of it.
Right.
Just having like more like in your arsenal ready. All right, let's see here.
Right.
So again, same round start sequence, down for 1 Sentai. This is fun to go for if you know the person against you is gonna respect you.
Yeah.
But just don't make it a habit. Just don't over spam this because it feels like you're over spamming in the set.
Yeah.
And it's not something that I feel like you should go for more often.
Yeah.
If anything, just like maybe just like a quick poke, quick look low check here and there afterwards, going for your statistics afterwards. That's sort of how it should be. But don't make this happen. So
I was trying to do Electro Wind God Kick right there, but I got 4-3.
Yeah, I know. That's a comment. Like, trust me, every single Reina player messes up 2-3. Doesn't matter how good or bad you are. This move is cursed. That everyone messes up this move at least one time. So
yeah,
it's fine. Okay, so here 4-2-3. Nice. This is what I mean by like not being afraid to go for 10-3. This is the exact flowchart that I want you to do a lot more. Is 1-1-2 afterward, like 10-3, you're +1, right? Meaning that you can do your jab first, and then this will also be confirmable as well. So it's like you can like this is a really good flowchart to have, and like why even in neutral, like I don't want you to be afraid to go for 4-2 10-3, because it'll cover certain options, right? Like on block, it'll leave you a plus. If they try to jab attempt your 4-4-2 attempts, it'll end up trading in your favor, and like there's a lot for it, right? Which is like, if they truly want to not deal with it, they're forced to duck, right? And if they're willing to, if you're forcing them to, I guess, duck, right? Let me pull this up real quick. If you're forcing them to duck afterwards, this will now open them up into like more options, right? So I guess I'll go back here. Let me pull this up real quick. Where is this? Where is this? No, not here. Here. Like the moment that we start opening up either like down jab checking us or like ducking, send one becomes a more available option at that point, right? Because this will absorb any like down jab attempts, generic low attempts. Well, sorry, not generic low, but like down jab attempts or like duck attempts, right? Send one becomes a viable option here because this, this also opens up the QCF2 follow up, which is insane damage by the way. Hit confirm as well, and like even like near the wall gives you a full wall spot, right? So it's like this is what I mean by like having this like sequences like matter because you add way more mental stack at that point. Like you're making them forced to just do more than one action, right? If they're jabbing you all day, if they're jabbing you all day, then Send 3 becomes like really, really good to spam because you end up annoying them enough to stop jabbing you and to start forcing them to duck more. Or even like doing like a down jab check, right? And then now that opens up more options for us, and so on and so on.
I would say majority of the players at my local know that I use Sentai 3 the most, which is that brings us back to the RPS meta. I'm glad you chose the analogy of RPS because in my head with my RPS, I'm always choosing Rock being my Sentai 3, right?
Behold, I choose Rock.
Yeah, and they would choose Paper, and Paper being Duck, and I get blown up for it. That's why I've been like using Sentai 3 less and less. And like even if I get a hit confirm, sometimes in my head I don't compute that it's a hit confirm, so I go for Sentai 2, which happened in this match.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying like we gotta add way more to our arsenal. And you know what? I'm gonna just say it right now. Add more Sen 1 to your arsenal. It'll make your life so much better. Like all the magic you're doing, like Sen 1, like once you see like how like good this armor, this power crush is. This is like obviously saying when it works because unfortunately, as much as I love this power crush. Sometimes exploits will happen where like the power crush just straight up won't work, and that's just more of a game issue at that point, right?
Right.
I hope they'll fix it in the next season, but here's the good thing about 442 Sen 1, right? So whenever you whiff your 442, okay? So whenever you'll see this happen to me, happen to Yagami as well, etc., right? Whenever we do a Sentai attempt from like 423, down forward 1 even, or even 442, any Sentai attempt, whenever we whiff that, we still have a chance to survive, and not just that, but get a lot of reward. Because the moment we visually say that our move whiffed, we can react fast enough to change our option to Sen 1. Yeah. And the moment we do that, even if they try to jab us, most of the time people won't do a single jab check. They'll do a jab string, right? Because they're in their head, they're going for their fastest quick punish, which most times is a jab string, right?
Right.
The Sen will actually absorb that, and that absorbs the whole thing. And you can hit confirm the hold afterwards, or QCF2 afterwards.
Right.
You can visually hit confirm that. So the moment you see Sen 1 land, okay, I'll buffer QCF2 afterwards, and now I get my reward. So it's like, this is why Sen 1 is so important to have. And why it's so rewarding. And like why, like, if you're scared of matches all the time, like this is your way of shutting that shit down. This is the whole reason why we have a power crush off of our Sentai stance. Is we're able to shut down challenge attempts, So definitely gotta add this way more to your arsenal.
Okay. Got it.
Go back this.
Right.
Even like here, like 423. If we decided like jab here, because 423, although it's like decent for going Sentai, I love the power push here because otherwise, not that. Let me do this here. Like everything is beatable by jab, right? Like everything that you have here off of 423 Sentai is beatable by jab. So that well, the only thing that will not lose here is the armor, and that's if they don't go for like a really quick jab string. Because some people jab strings tend to be like, it breaks the armor like I mentioned earlier, but that's more of a game issue at that point. And hopefully they'll fix it next season, but it doesn't happen too often for us to worry about it now. Just letting you know that if it happens, don't be surprised.
Okay.
But yeah, 423, like even there, like I love 423 Sen armor. Like that is my favorite full chart personally. Just 423 Sen armor is super strong.
Yeah.
Okay, 44, good full chart. So this is the full chart you mentioned earlier, right? The 4 attempts for 4 attempts.
Yeah, that's like that's me gambling right there.
Yeah. Okay. So what you can do is replace the full crash for 4 attempts. With some wall standing 1 attempts, because wall standing 1 is only -10, and that also tracks both ways. So it's like you're able to do all of that, and still get like a possible like with punch attack afterwards. It's really
can you do it real quick just so I can visualize it?
Yeah, sure. So you'll do like this into like duck, Boom, boom. See that?
Okay.
So this is
Gotcha.
rare. Only one is one. Tracks both ways, and see that reward afterwards. And now
Right.
you have both to top the order. Also, running 4.
Right.
Definitely add it to your arsenal a little bit more. So running 4 really, really strong as well. Because you know that'll cover that'll like first of all, you're way more plus off of this than you are off of running 3.
Right.
Plus you're less likely to get set upwards because it's a homing move.
Right.
But also you get way more tip off of it. So you can do that into
Right.
like Wrath 1/4, so on and so on, right?
Right.
That's more safer next time.
Okay.
So again, my 13 move. Oh, hold on, I'm getting a call.
Okay, that's fine.
Alright, I gotta go as soon as I gotta wrap this up. Alright. Alright, but yeah, what we were talking about earlier. But yeah. Running 4 can be a more available option here as well, like I mentioned earlier, because there's a lot more myself I make off of it.
Okay.
But yeah, 1/1, bum bum. Okay, so same situation earlier. Down 4-2-3 lands. Your best punish here is 4-2-3, like I mentioned earlier, because you know, long range stuff and whatnot. But you know, 4-2-3 ended up working here, anyways.
Right.
I don't know why he matched here. He matched here +4 here afterwards. He got greedy.
I'm kind of curious on what my my combo was on this one. Go ahead and play it out. Okay.
Ooh. That was interesting.
Oh, I try to salvage it.
Yeah, it happened.
Yeah.
It was worth it there. That was fine. I respect it.
Yeah.
You got a good timing there. Taunt. You messed up his taunt there. Good down jab. See what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because 4/2, like they're mostly looking for like duck attempt or whatever. Like,
Right.
or also the not available option there. Could be good. Yeah, and with the 4-2-3, I think I gotta punch that a little bit more. Power crush. Oh, if he did power crush there, he would have been dead. Okay. So remember earlier, or rather like yesterday, when I talked about
Right.
+2.
Right.
So you're only punishable by 10 to 11 frame moves. Whereas over something smaller, see that? That would have been dead. So try to get into the habit of doing power crush afterwards, but don't over spam it because some people might do like a throw attempt afterwards.
So Heaven's Wrath Power Crush.
No. So yeah, after Wrath back, yeah. So Wrath back on +2, pretty much, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, not here, unfortunately. Oh, big punish. I sue. Ah. Okay. It's a bit of a scrap, but we'll take it.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what happens here. Back 1 round start. Okay, I respect the electric step. That was a good attempt. But he ended up doing a red start back 1 here, which is fine.
Right.
No, it happens. What was this combo?
A bam bam.
What if he did like a? I know. Okay. I had a back rolling here. Okay, that was crazy, but it worked out. So yeah, again, how we wake up here also matters. So meaning that here, like, sort of wanted to just favor tech rolling away from the wall, but here there was like a camera bug here, unfortunately, so like you couldn't really go anywhere. I'm seeing it even here, even right now, like I'm seeing it. Like it's forcing tech back into the wall. This is more of a game bug, but generally when you're able to, try to tech away from the wall. It's similar to how you're stepping away from the wall. When you're stepping. The same applies when you're on the ground, right?
Okay.
So whenever you're like getting hit by all these sequences, right? Sometimes just taking a ground hit or two is fine as long as you're able to escape the wall afterwards.
Okay.
And like not give them that big reward to work with. So I'll cover that more later. But...
Got it.
Okay, we got lucky there. Bum. Yeah, that didn't work there because he had a high splat. So whenever you like go for an immediate screw like this afterwards, well the game will physically put them a lot higher at the wall. I think we can get like an extra hit in there. As you see right there.
Gotcha. I don't use that in there often.
Yeah, it gets easier to understand the more you like get familiar with it. Okay, big risk there, but we'll take it. Okay, what's for breakfast here? Oh, I didn't do anything. Okay, so here, you should still go in. Like, this is what I mean by like being more familiar with what your Oki looks like. Is like your ability to still be able to go in first here.
Right.
And here, instead to go in, like you still would have been able to beat his wake up match down here. But you know, you being hesitant, sort of closet here. So you only had to go in after he decided to wake up was kind of like the bad choice here. So just being more comfortable going in, I guess going back to your main strength, right? What we mentioned earlier, like seeing opportunity and Kaplan listening on there, right? Like, again, back to our strengths, right?
Right.
This comes with more familiarity, right? So being more aware of what the Oki looks like after you turn options is like something you should also explore. And
Got it.
we'll definitely cover that in our next episode again. Like I mentioned,
Yeah.
like, this is all like build up for like what can we do with Reina specifically, right? And like
Right.
understanding our options better allows us to make better decisions, right?
Right.
So like that's where it all matters. But yeah,
Gotcha.
here we don't
That was
know
fun.
that, whatnot. Boom, boom. Well, yeah, that's the safe sequence. So here is -1 only.
Right.
This is safe, -7 only.
I I try to punish it. Yeah, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Yeah, again, down for 1 sensei, getting us killed.
Down
So
for
that
down
happens
for one
right now.
sensei. Okay, got it.
Yeah, try not to do that too much. Yeah. Bum 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 bum. Hey. Okay, so generally against this sequence right here, right? Against 3+4, whatever from it's round 4, right? Round 4, yeah. Just as a nice little reacting training thing, is that whenever you see the charge up happen, right? This will take the time to get used to, but definitely something you can represent more. It is a little bit hard to do. Whenever you see the charge, just down forward 2 check.
Okay.
You have a lot of time to react to this, so
Right.
it's a lot of time to react to it. So just try to interrupt whenever you see it.
So I
Do
can.
that.
So with this move, with down forward 1, or down forward 2, I could just take away that move.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like
Can he
down
end
forward
it
two is
early?
The best thing. Yeah. Here's the thing, right? So
Yeah.
you gotta react to him charging this or not. If he doesn't charge it, like obviously it's gonna like if you like decide to spam and interrupt jab, for example, you'll obviously lose. But that's why so you gotta practice visually reacting to the charge or not. But the moment you see the charge, it's like okay, the charge is coming now. I'm able to like react and like do something afterwards. So do like a
Right.
down forward 1 check. Down forward 2 is the best, but down forward 2 is also the slowest option you can do. Meaning that you gotta have really good reactions for down forward 2 to work. Otherwise, like keep it small, like a jab check down for 1 if you really are scared of checking. Like, or rather, like let's say you're a little bit slow on checking, which obviously on the first attempts that you'll end up doing this on, you'll probably won't get it on the first try. But once you get more comfortable, like visually seeing the move, you'll be able to naturally react faster, right? Because you're easy. Like I guess you could say like it's easier for your brain to recognize the move faster because the more comfortable you are seeing the animation itself.
Right.
Plus, when you're at the wall, right? Like when you're at the wall, you can expect 2 things from Brian: either the 3+4 thing or the taunt setup, right? Or whatever else might come your way. So like being able to properly anticipate the move because you're at a certain position adds more logic and more awareness to your own like neutral as well. Because why would they ever do 3+4 in neutral, right? Like sorry 3+4 2 in neutral, right? Because 3+4 2 in neutral doesn't really do much with them. Whereas at the wall, it can give them a lot more reward, right? So we can anticipate that move at the wall and set up in open space. So that's what awareness, like general building awareness, sounds like.
Okay.
Oh, let me do this real quick. Okay, here, luckily we had a good angle, so we didn't end up fighting anyways. Good punish there. So this is a little manga that Brian has.
Right.
This little machine gun punch. So basically, every move is -10, besides the last hit. So every move is -10. Now it's just a matter of you either like slowly being able to backdash out of the move, which can happen sometimes.
Right.
If not, just it's a mind game of when will I punish this move, and when will I finish the string? It's like okay, if I finish the string, you end up dying for jab attempting. But if he finishes the string and you don't do anything, he's launch punishable at that point. So it's like it's a small mind game.
Okay.
Again, we got a punish while thing too because -10. So.
Right.
Bum bum. Nice 4-4-2-10. That was pretty good because this is what I mean by like having like dash attempts.
Right.
Like bum bum. This is what I mean. This is where like doing hell sweep into cancel is really good because like you're not directly in the corner here. There's still like wiggle room for them to escape. So like, this is where the canceling is really good idea.
Right.
And then them woofing that jab allowed you to get that 4-4-2, which is really good.
Right.
But when you're directly at the wall, like example, for example here, right? When you're here, like in the corner here, this is when you want to commit an option. This is like the best time to commit an option because they can't really do much. Rat 2 becomes a really good option here as well, and of course that works as well. Bum, bum. Oh, that doesn't work at all. No.
That doesn't work at all. It's fine.
You only lost this. Okay, so if we didn't drop your combo here, it would have.
Yeah.
I feel like it would have won the round easily.
I think earlier I was trying to figure out something. I was like, oh, did this work?
Right.
Yeah.
So remember we're talking about, I guess the last one to talk about here. Remember I talked about how like we allow because we go for big sequences after our pressure, we allow ourselves to have gaps in our pressure.
Yeah.
So like after like our +5 situation, right? Going for
Right.
4-4-3 here is like a huge move to go for because it's like a 20 frame move.
Yeah.
And that allows him to step here. Whereas if we went for a simple jab sequence, he would have been dead.
Mm.
So like if we go for this and to like this is where we like checking that. See that? That we limit
Right.
their options. Remember we mentioned this very well last time, so this is sort of where it matters.
This is what you're talking about earlier with
yeah.
what was it? If you have lower flames, it's better to do an immediate option.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Okay, gotcha. That makes sense.
So yeah. Okay. Oh, how do I? Okay, there we go. Yeah, this is what I mean, and like this would have been like this would have been like the game right here. So everything you did up to this point has been really good. Just that small mistakes here really cost you. Like the biggest thing that costed you here was just like a lot of common mistakes. Like for example, like not punching certain things correctly,
Right.
being hesitant to use certain options when they're available to you, and then flow charting down for one, for example, around starts into sands. That got you killed a lot, unfortunately. But other than that, like most of the time, your overall understanding of how to approach the neutral against Brian has been really good. But
Right.
we gotta just slowly add more things to our kit and just having more like reasoning behind our approach tool, for example, like our okay situation, being more comfortable understanding what our options are looking like and not challenging at points where we're supposed to respect, and so on and so on. This is sort of where it matters. Hey there, what happens here? What do you send to? Ah, man. Okay, grab here, down 4 probably, down 2. So here, boom, down 4, okay. So me personally,
What's up?
I would probably fish for like a generic low attempt here,
Yeah.
simply because it's like a common round, especially when you have your opponent like a hit away from dying, right? It's a really good option to represent either like a simple mid check or
Right.
like a simple down 4 check, right? Especially when they're like they're like within like a tight frame situation. So for example, here he's like -2, right?
Right.
Generic lows being super fast, but like
That-
10 frames, right?
Yeah.
So because they are 2 frames faster, we're able to win that poke war, right? So it's like make it like a decent flow. Make it like a decent habit to try to end the round with either a quick mid check, like a down forward one, or a quick generic low. Like let that be your 50-50. Because most people, when they're about to die and they're like a poke from dying, they're either gonna like have a small like gap in their pressure where it's like, okay, he went for down 2 here, leaves my -2, right? He went for the down back 3 here because it'll jab crush. So if you try to jab it down, he'll just crush it. But generally, as your own response should be either like a mid check with down forward 1 or a generic low. Let that always be your ending 50-50 no matter what. Like no matter like whenever you watch any like high level Tekken or just a Tekken in general, whenever you see like 2 experienced players go at it, most of the time when they're just a poke away from winning, they'll keep it really simple. Like they'll do like a jab into like a down forward 1 maybe afterwards, or do like a jab like a generic low, or just run up generic low, whatever the case might be, right? Or they'll do like the classic. I call the classic the high mid low attempts. Meaning you'll start off with a jab, you'll do it down for 1 afterwards, and then to try to jab back at you, the generic low will crush the low. So we call that the tic-tac-toe.
Tic-tac-toe. Okay.
It's like high, mid, low. It's a common flowchart that a lot of people do. They'll do like a jab, and then do like a down for 1 check, and if they don't end up dying from that, they'll do a generic low afterwards immediately. Like that's a common flowchart, and it's fine to have.
Gotcha.
But it's like it's just a common situation you're put in. So it's like here he did the same thing. He technically did the same thing here, where he went high first, went for the grab, and then he went for the mid afterwards, and then afterwards went for the low. See that? So we call that the high, mid, low sequence. So it's like a lot of people will do this sequence a lot. Like this is very common in one you see.
Okay.
So go for a high option, afterwards the mid option, afterwards the low option. It's like very common.
Got it.
All right, let's see how this last round goes. 1, 2. That's good. That's good. 1. Again, we gotta do our 4-2-3 here because it's costing us a lot. See that?
4-2-3. Ah, yeah. Okay, gotcha.
Oh, big too slow to confirm there. 1-2-3 is decent here because you're just adding more mental stack to worry about off your jab shrink, which is fine. But we gotta get better confirming that. Also, this is a common shrink from Brian. You gotta duck this high. This is like a duckable high. You gotta launch for it.
Got it.
Okay, put the fish for that. It's a safe option. This is getting really scrappy. He didn't launch you for it. He tried to launch you, but didn't launch you. Okay, so that's also why we go for 10-3. Because see how we're able to get like a jab off of it?
Yeah.
But you're sort of overfishing for 1-2-3 here. So I guess last note to talk about. Let 1, 2, 3, 4 only be like, I guess commonly represented at the wall, because the reward you get off of that at the wall is way better than you would be in like in the open space, right? Like at the open space, you don't really get much off of it, whereas 1, 1, 2
Yeah.
will give you like a whole like mix up off of Sentai, which is way more
Okay.
strong. But in the open space, let it be like only like 1, 1, 2. Like don't bother
Got
going for
it.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Got it.
Here we're at the two button, unfortunately.
Mm,
Was that 442 attempt?
think so.
It probably was. Just a little bit slow in the execution there. There we go.
Yeah, it was.
Bum, bum,
Right.
bum, bum. Okay, no, they're pursuing you here. Okay, you got bum. Okay, so here. So I guess going back to our starting point today.
Right.
Wall positioning, right? So
Right.
here,
Take away.
Striking is a decent challenge tool here, but tech, you want to tech away from the wall. So
Take away
being
from the
able
wall.
to just exactly.
Got it.
But yeah, here is like one knot. And 1 second.
Okay.
Alright. I'm back. Sorry. So
Okay.
back
All good. All
here.
good.
And bum. Yeah, here's Crane Kick, unfortunately. Like whenever we were in the situation, unfortunately, we end up forcing ourselves into eating a taunt setup, but he ended up messing it up here, which is fine. Okay, right 3, 4. Good option there. And then, nice. You see what I mean? Like we're going back into the wall. Like we're easily able to like step away from the wall here.
Step
Like,
away
after
from the
grapple
wall.
edits,
Right.
yeah, well, like when we're going here, like you want to cut off his corner, right? Like you want to be
Right.
able to like fish for resisting here. Because look at this, right? Whenever
Right.
you're like able to like lavish grab, like even like you don't have to be directly at the wall. Just being
Yeah.
at an angle where you're able to push them towards it can also be really powerful. See that?
Right.
So like being able to go here, then afterwards working your way towards it, right? See that? As
Gotcha.
you slowly work your way up, see that?
Mm.
Like this is what I
Gotcha.
mean, like having like this is why like corner cutting really matters.
Mm.
But here I ended up working out anyways. Let's work. Too many hits, unfortunately. And then yeah, there. We ended up messing it
Okay.
there. Could have just, yeah. A lot of similar sequences here.
Mm.
Very close games. And then yeah, there we took it into the zone setup there, unfortunately.
Mm.
All right. Okay, we'll wrap things up here.
Okay. So, what are the key takeaways from this session?
So, key takeaways, right? Besides, I guess you could say like catch familiarity, obviously.
Yeah.
So key takeaways is obviously working on bad habits. So like, favoring like better mix-ups off of our healthy attempts. So like for
Yeah.
example, like when we did that one sequence where we went to ZT14, we don't
Yeah.
want to end up taking unnecessary risks like that. We want to make our flowchart more logical, meaning that after
Yeah.
like stuff like Rat 3-4, for example, let's just if you truly want to catch on your options afterwards, just go for something
Yeah.
as simple as Rat 3+4, Rat 2, Rat 1-4 maybe, because the reward on that is much better than what we're able to do.
Right.
Obviously, another thing what we ended up like having struggles with was being more familiar with what our long range punishment on block looks like. So being able to add more 4-2-3 to your arsenal,
right.
super important for block punishment.
Got that.
That is
got that
super
written
important
down,
as
no?
well. And of course,
Yeah.
I talked about this the most throughout the session is
Right.
the positioning mind games, you could say, right? Like being able to just fight for that pressure or just work your way out of it, and so on and so on. And like we're able to either either fight our way out of the wall or just cut off their opponent's approach from escaping the wall and so on and so on. Like stuff we did well was like, for example, like that one sequence where you did like 4-4-3 and you like backdash afterwards. You saw that they respected you afterwards.
Yeah.
Took in like the health sweep attempt. That's good. Keep that up.
Right.
Same thing with the health sweep attempts. If you want to do like if you want to like cancel it into doing nothing, I guess you could say like we gotta practice getting more comfortable with the cancel input as well, like doing the down forward back input, being
Yeah.
able to react fast enough, right? We gotta get more comfortable doing that because a lot
Yeah.
of times during that set, you misinputted back one a lot, which is
Yeah.
a bad habit. Definitely something we
Mhm.
definitely work on.
Okay.
So work on that for sure. Just getting more
Yep.
comfortable canceling the heavens rat stuff.
Okay.
Another thing I'm trying to remember right now is like getting more comfortable getting your 4-4-2 mind games going there. So like it was like towards the end, like where you were at the wall, where you ended up doing more 4-4-2, like send 2s, 4-4-2s, and 1+2s at the wall, which is
Mhm.
good. Also after send 1+2, you should add the power crush afterwards, so that will mitigate people's attempts to punish you.
Yeah.
And again, another thing I didn't mention earlier was because the Wrath Castle is so important for us, let's say that they end up like rage darting after someone plus 2, right? We
Yeah.
want to be able to cancel our wrath fast enough for us not to eat that rage dart. Otherwise, we're not eating it. You know?
I had something like that happen earlier today.
Yeah.
What's it called? I was in a whole combo and everything, and one of my friends tried to rage art me. After I did my hell sweep, I canceled and blocked it.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I
that's why it's
understand that.
important as well.
Mm-hmm.
So getting more comfortable with wrath canceling is also super important.
Got it.
It also allows us to like in the future add more like way more cooler mixes to our arsenal. So stuff like Fukuteki, which I haven't touched upon at all yet, but I am saving it for next time.
Got it.
But like stuff like that becomes way more useful the moment we start getting comfortable canceling our sequence with like downward back, because it's a really it's not a complicated input, but it's something I get used to. And you're mainly on a stick, right? Are you on a stick or are you on pad?
I'm on pad.
Okay, so good. Okay, so on pad is not as straining on your hand as it is for stick players. So luckily we're in the same boat here, thankfully. So once you're getting more comfortable with that sequence, it becomes a lot more easier to input.
Right.
But and so on and so on. But yeah. Again, don't be scared to use Sam 3. Sam 3 is still really good for us on block, because allows us to have that +1 on block sequence. Also, another thing we should like represent a little bit more is confirming 221, confirming 112, because that's like our go-to confirmed in this game for like in neutral stuff and whatnot. Obviously, there's other confirms I'll cover next time, but we'll cover that for our next session. Obviously, there's just so much to cover for this character.
No, that's fine. It's fine.
There's so much, dude. The character's so sick, but at the same time, like there's so much to learn. What else? Covered that. I think that's a good majority of it. I can't remember anything else I haven't covered.
Let me look up the notes.
Sure.
My round start.
Now for 110 size exactly.
Right. Keep it simple. Don't have to do too much.
Either backdash, sidestep,
Right.
or take an immediate poke and just keep it simple. Don't like overcomplicate it, right?
Yeah. Okay. Overcashing out. No need to risk. On like some plus frames. That's another thing I wrote down.
DD14 is best at the wall. Don't use it in the open too much. It's not really worth it. We can replace it with other sequences as well.
Right. If you have lower. What's up?
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say like also like dash practice, like dash electric, sidestep electric, back electric.
Oh yes, I got that as my homework actually.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Another one would be the frames. If I have lower frames, I have to do an immediate action. Say for example, my Heaven's Wrath 2 heat dash. I'm only +5.
It's what we call a good flowchart. It's like, okay, you're trying to keep them within frames, that you limit their options a lot more, right? Especially when you're like about to kill them. So here's where you go for like bigger mix-up stuff is when you're like when you absolutely need it in order to like gain some momentum back, right? So like let's say you do like a hate dash, and like let's say you're at a life deficit and you need to get a comeback going, right? Obviously, when you're at a life deficit, you don't want to keep it too small all the time. Like let's say that. Like there's always a time and place for everything, right? You shouldn't only keep it small after heat dashes, right? I'm not saying that should be your only option.
Right.
It's just a matter of like if they're about to die, right? And you only need like a poke, just keep it simple to that poke, right? But if you're at a life deficit, or like let's say you're in neutral, right? Let's say if you're in neutral and like you're both at an equal life force and you still need to get like something going, at that point it's fine to go for more quick stuff like a running move, maybe like a hell sweep afterwards, right? Maybe like a forward 4 afterwards. That's when it's okay to go for stuff like that. But like generally in that situation where like for example like when you burn your heat, right? You had him in the corner. You were a poke away from dying, but instead of going for like something really quick, like a simple action, you went for 443, right? 443 is a 20 frame move, dude. So 20 frame move being like super slow after your heat dash, like you're opening yourself up to eating a lot of things, right? Like if he challenged you, you would have died there. If he sidestepped, you would have died there. So it's like having that flowchart, like not be a good one allows you to end up dying more, right? So that's why we gotta replace our bad flowcharts with a good ones, and I'll cover that more like tonight.
Okay, not a problem. All right, cool. I got some homework to do then.
Yeah, a lot of stuff to do. Yeah.
I'm gonna work on the back dash, electronic office, sidestep electronic office dash.
Yeah.
Whenever you get the chance, I'm not sure if you're gonna be able to do it today or not. I'm about to be going here to sleep here soon. If you can send me like a kind of like a when I first reiterated the like whole like wax on wax off Karate Kid thing,
right
with like wave views and stuff like that. So if we're both on pad, you could probably show me another method, because I have trouble doing a electric or a hell sweep on right side. And so like when I'm playing on the right side, I tend to just like people just tend to like just hold back on me and wait for me to do
Fumble,
like
I guess
a
you'd say.
fumble. Yes. And
pretty much.
they have no reason to block low.
Right.
And that's because I'm uncomfortable with doing a hell sweep or just like lows on the right side.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'll definitely write something up for you then if that's the case then. But
Yeah.
luckily for you, it's not a complex topic to overcome. It's just
Yeah.
a matter of getting more comfortable, just practicing certain sequences that you're able to be comfortable with both sides. And
Right.
that will require some days of you just playing on P2 side. Maybe
Yeah.
even like doing some like another like really good practice drill for you to have so that you're
Yeah.
not stressing yourself too much.
Yeah.
Is to abuse ghost battles, right? So ghost battles, you're able to just download like whatever person's ghost, right?
Yeah.
And then just act like you're playing against another person, and then just play on
Yeah.
the PC side. And at that point, you're able to like simulate what a rematch could feel like.
Yeah.
Not exactly up to standards, but like it's think of it as like a less stressful, like less realistic, but also like sort of simulating experience. So it's like okay, you're fighting against a certain person. Because the good thing about ghosts, right? They're
Yeah.
not the best when it comes to simulating a real person, obviously.
Yeah.
But like they at least showcase common flowcharts that you'll see from other players, right?
Yeah.
And like because those flowcharts exist, it gives you a simulation of hey, this is how I would feel like moving around those certain flowcharts in case they were coming my way, right? Because there are common situations you'll see it all the time, right? And it can be like a nice like stress-free like method of practicing that you can just do in like a chill time. Maybe let's say that you're like chilling one night, like got
Yeah.
that lo-fi going in the background, right? Just having
Right.
like that little thing going where you just boot up the game, like you don't feel like actually playing a match, but you just want to like practice certain things. You can just have
Yeah.
like a ghost battle.
Okay.
And, it's useful for that. It's useful for that regard, right? So it's so on.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
But yeah, I'll definitely write some stuff for you about this as well afterwards. But yeah, I do have to go right now, unfortunately.
That's all good. That's all good. I appreciate the session nonetheless. I learned a lot from
Yeah,
this
of
one.
course, of course. Yeah.
Learned a lot from
Definitely
this
a
one.
lot more to uncover. But yeah, I'm glad
Unfortunate.
you're
Mm-hmm.
glad you're bringing along. Yeah. There is time to we do need time to absorb all this information, so
Yeah.
I won't like overload your brain with too much stuff. We got to take your time like absorbing all this information because
Right.
it's a lot to absorb, right? So
Right.
on that note, good stuff, man. Hopefully the practice pulls through. Hopefully you enjoy the process of it.
We might have to do the next session next week. So I got
sure.
homework for now. I'm also during probably my off time when I have no homework, I'm probably gonna try to start pushing up in blue, because I feel like I can definitely get Tekken King with the new tools I've been working with.
Got it. Yeah,
So-
definitely nice to set the goal for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can definitely see you doing it, dude. Because like right now, the only issues I feel like you're having at the moment, because you have a good sense of like what neutral approach should be like. So you
Right.
already have like the base like founded for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like the instincts are there. It's just a matter of like having like better logic behind it. So, like,
Right.
that's why I want to slowly build better flowcharts for you to have, and like having like more confident in your approach. Obviously, learning a matchup as well, because not every match is played the same, right? So obviously we have our flowcharts, but also like getting more hands-on experience and understanding what to do against certain characters is also important as well, right? So it's like there's a lot to uncover in this game, and like it's not an easy.
It's not
not
an
easy
easy
to-
game. Yeah, you're right.
It requires dedication and patience to be able to be willing to learn all of these things. So
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely a fun process, though. But yeah, I do have to go though.
Okay.
Yeah, good
Okay.
stuff
Okay.
today. Always a pleasure.
Of course.
Okay,
Thank you.
yeah.
All right. Take care.
No worries. Peace, bro.
All
Have a
right.
good
See ya.
one.
You too. Okay, 2-hour session.